Welcome back. The trial of former Umkhonto weSizwe spokesperson Carl Niehaus has been postponed to the 16th and 17th of May for further evidence. Niehaus is charged with violating COVID-19 regulations by allegedly holding a gathering outside the Escort prison where former President Jacob Zuma was imprisoned last year. The staunch Zuma supporter says he believes the charges against him are politically motivated. eNCA reporter Lethiwe Mdluli following this case for us. Let's go to her now just to get the latest in terms of what happened in court today. Lethiwe, good afternoon. So tell us what happened.
Well, Braden, not much came out of court today as the matter has been postponed. It has been postponed to the 16th and the 17th of May. But starting off court proceedings, we heard testimony from Captain Rhodes Moss, who was, of course, the policeman who arrested Carl Niehaus last year when he was standing outside the Escort prison. He did end off his testimony. He has been testifying since yesterday, basically sharing with the court that they saw Carl Niehaus holding a gathering when it was not permitted to do so. And they have been saying as the state that they believe that he contravened COVID-19 regulations. And that, of course, is what the NPA and the state is arguing in court. But, of course, we also saw two videos forming part of evidence from the state where they played a live crossing that Carl Niehaus did with my colleague, Tathia, before he was arrested. They also played another video where it showed Carl Niehaus being arrested by Captain Moss live on air. In that video, my colleague had asked Carl Niehaus to join him to speak to him surrounding the imprisonment of the former president. But of course, he was at the time addressing a crowd of people that had gathered, forming a crowd around him. Now, Carl Niehaus's explanation of that is that he was actually there to visit the former president and not exactly to address the crowd that was outside the prison. But when he arrived there, the crowd formed around him and they started asking questions as to how the president was doing. But he did say that when they asked him questions, he had to actually tell them how their former president was doing, and that is why he was arrested. But of course, the state is saying that, or rather it is disputing this, saying that he was actually convening that gathering and he was addressing that crowd outside the prison. But today what we did see is the postponement of that case because the state wanted to include further evidence into the case. They wanted to introduce more evidence, which includes, we believe, videos of Carl Niehaus and also his tweets from Twitter. And unfortunately, the defense did say that they had not been presented with this evidence before and they wanted to study it further. So the matter was postponed for further evidence to the 16th of May. But while speaking to the NPA's spokesperson here in the province, Natasha Ramkinson-Kara, this is what she had to say about the matter.
The trial in this particular matter got underway during the course of this week. The state has led two of its witnesses as well as video footage as part of the state's evidence. The matter was further postponed to the 16th and 17th of May 2022 for further evidence in the state's case.
Well, I understand, Lethiwe, that Carl Niehaus says the state tried to ambush him. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, what he means by that is that the state actually tried to ambush them with the evidence, the new evidence that they wanted to introduce in court today, because we do understand that the state only introduced this evidence today and they made the defense aware of it today. So Carl Niehaus has been saying that the state tried to one-up them by introducing new evidence before they actually made contact with them, and that's why they asked for this postponement. He's also saying that these charges are bogus, and he believes that this case should be thrown out of court because the state does not have a case. Instead, they should be going after people who actually are criminals. He's saying that he believes this is still a political ploy and it's factional battles within the ANC, and is calling for this whole thing to be thrown out of court because he's saying that taxpayers' money are being wasted. While speaking to him, getting his reaction from today's postponement, this is what he had to say.
The reason why we had to postpone is because the state behaved in an improper fashion. The state was trying to ambush us today by bringing apparently what they call new evidence. Now, it is my constitutional right to remain silent. This is a criminal case. It is my constitutional right at the same time to present my case. But it is not the constitutional right of the state to use the process of me presenting my case, then to continue with an ongoing investigation to try and counter and ambush what is presented by my legal representatives and my advocate here in court. They've acted irregularly, they've acted unconstitutionally, and we had to ask for this postponement in order to be able to prepare